Alright, shalom, shalom. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakah, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to all the hopeful elect brothers that's doing the work of the Lord in sincerity and in truth. Lord, will, this is going to be a quick and edifying lesson based on the updates of the government shutdown. And this is November 10th, 2025, and it's late in the night. Actually, it's November 11th right now as I'm doing this video because it's past 12 o'clock. But the last update was you say close to 20 minutes ago. This is from CBS News. It says government shutdown end in sight as Senate approves funding package, sending it to House. And it says what to know on day 41 of the government shutdown. The Senate late Monday approved a long sought funding package that would end the government shutdown, bringing Congress one step closer to ending an impasse that has griped Washington for 41 days. That's over a month. Over a month that people have had to work without pay. A lot of people got laid off. Some people got fired. So a lot of bad things happen. A lot of people had to go to food banks because they're not getting paid. So the what do you call it? The EBT dried up. The food stamps. So a lot of people are in mourning. A lot of people are sad right now. A lot of people that trusted in the government, that trusted in Esau, especially our people. Our people, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and especially the so-called black women. You all put your trust in Satan. You put your trust in Esau. You put your trust in the government, and this is just like a test of the consequences that the Lord is showing you. You're supposed to put your trust in the Lord. That has griped Washington for 41 days and sowed chaos across the country. Chaos, because out of chaos they're gonna bring an order. It's called order of chaos, and it's a device or a plan. That these elites bring forth to get something done. To get something major done. And that's the plot or the tool that they're gonna use to bring forth the NWO and furthermore the MOTB. You should know those acronyms by now. If you don't know, just look it up. The legislation now heads to the House for approval as early as Wednesday. So let me get scriptures because this video won't be long. This lesson won't be long. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. And I'm going to read from verse 1 through 4. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So the Lord is coming back as a thief in the night, coming unexpected for the majority of people. But the the prophets, the men of the Lord set us up, Lord will, as watchmen, you know, to watch out for the signs of his coming. And we're in that season that the Lord is about to return. You know, Matthew 24 chapters is coming to pass. Second Ezra chapter 15 and 16 is coming to pass. Isaiah 4 and 1, Isaiah chapter 32, the vintage is failing. The government is drawing back the benefits from these women. You know, the comfort is no more. So we're in a season and a time of war, like Pete Hegseth said about the weapons acquisition, meaning that the weapon sales, you know, they're leveling everything up. He's saying that basically this is wartime, you know. And the prophets, the men of the Lord, know that the Lord will come as a thief in the night, coming as a surprise to the majority of people. No one knows when the Lord is coming back except for the Most High. Yahushua don't know when he's coming back, but the Most High does. And the Most High will give Yahushua that order to return, to deliver the elect of his people, and to destroy Esau's kingdom and take power from Esau and other nations as well, so that he could reign, you know, and begin his kingdom, the kingdom of heaven. Right? For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. So this is like a sort of peace that's coming, right? Because if the government opens up again, then things will go back to somewhat, you know, normality. You know, it's gonna go back to normal, meaning before the government was shut down. You know, a lot of workers that was laid off, they're gonna get compensated back for all the days that they didn't work. Some workers are gonna get paid double, depending on the job. You know, if you have a so-called good job. But then again, before the government even shut down, there's so many layoffs. A lot of these companies are laying a lot of people, are firing a lot of people because of AI and automation and robots. So that's Second Ezra, no, not Second Ezra. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 12. The grinding is ceasing. In comes the UBI, the universal basic income. First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. But ye brethren are not in darkness. That means darkness meaning you're in a state of ignorance. You don't know what's going on. You can't see what's happening right in front of you. You're unconscious. You're not aware of what's going on around you. And you have people in the world, even people in the world are starting to wake up, you know, of how bad the situation is, of you know, of how bad the government is really treating them. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So a lot of people are in mourning right now because Esau destroyed the earth, and he wants to have everyone as slaves with a stamp and a tracker inside of them, which is the MOTB. But ye brethren are not in darkness. That means the prophets and men of the Lord are aware of what's going on, because we could link the prophecies of the scriptures with with the current events. That's measuring the times, and prophecies are coming to pass like like there's no tomorrow. That day should overtake you as a thief. So that day won't overtake us as a thief. Jacob's trouble is starting right now, and we could see that it's going to be bad. Let me go back to this article from CBS News. The final version of the bill extends government funding through January 2026. So let's say this does pass. What's going to happen after January 2026? That means the government is going to get shut down again, because these two parties are playing with people's lives, because they want chaos, they want disorder, they want protests, so they could find a reason to go in and regulate people using the troops and using other means, and be austere and strict, set up strict rules, and bring in the order that they want, which is the NWO, a digital prison. The final version of the bill extends government funding through January 2026. It also includes 3-year-long funding bills for various federal agencies and programs, and reinstates federal workers who were laid off during the shutdown, so they could go back to work. The federal workers. In exchange, Salakia, for the 8 Democratic votes, Republicans agreed to hold a vote by mid-December on extending health care tax credits that have been central to Democrats' demands. So the Democrats and the Republicans are fighting, but it's all a show, because if they really wanted to help people, they would have did it. But it's controlled like chaos, like it's manufactured. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose to make people's lives miserable. This is the man of sin we're talking about, Esau. The agreement angered many in the Democratic base who wanted health care addressed in the deal itself. So let me go to Revelation 12. Is it? No, Revelation 13 and 11. Because they're both two sides of the same coin. It's two parties, but they work for the same people. Whatever the elites want to happen, that's what's gonna happen in Babylon the Great. Revelation 13 and 11 says, Salakia, Revelation 13 and 11. Oh, it's cold out here. It's getting cold. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. So, another beast coming up out of the earth. That represents the Roman Empire. Roman Empire. And right now we're living in the revival or the rebirth of the Roman Empire, because the format of the you say alliances that's ruling the earth today, the NATO, the EU, NATO, the EU, and America is a part of that. It's like the Roman Empire. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Back in the Roman Empire, you had 2 parties. You had the plebeians and you had the patricians. In America, you have 2 parties. You have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. You have two parties. So it take the same format of the ancient Roman Empire. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, meaning lamb meaning peace. They come with peace. You know, they promote peace and prosperity. But then when these presidents come, they talk about all the good change that they're gonna bring for the people, and then they always go back on their word. And he spake as a dragon, meaning the harsh draconian laws and legislation that he's passing. DJT, the president, you know, the ICE raids, the Insurrection Act. That's harsh legislation, harsh laws that they're gonna bring to pass, because if they were to just act on their own without bringing forth, without making it lawful, without making what they're doing lawful before through writing and laws, signing acts and bills into laws, then it would be wrong. Then the people would come up against them easy, no problem. But even the devil does things in order. Let me show you. Let me show you an example of a draconian measures. Let's say yeah, perfect example. Free speech. Someone got arrested in UK. UK. No, they're not showing it. Okay, they're not showing it here on Google, but someone in the UK got arrested. Got arrested on the basis of free speech. That's draconian measures. Another example would be like someone spending someone being arrested in jail for 10 years for stealing food, you know, for going to a restaurant and ordering food and eating it and leaving because they don't have no money. A harsh draconian measure would be that person being detained and arrested for like 10 years. That's something harsh, and it doesn't fit the crime that was committed, so to speak. Draconian law. Draconian law. Let me see. Right here. This is from Wikipedia. The This is the draconian constitution, or Draco's code, was a written law code enforced by Draco in Athens near the end of the 7th century BC. Its composition started around 621 BC. It was written in response to the unjust interpretation and modification of oral law by Athenian aristocrats. So Draco, what was the one that wrote it? So let me go down here. Punishments for breaking laws were severe, often death. The term draconian, meaning excessively severe, thus derives from Draco's name, and his law code is often applies to laws or other government measures. The code aimed to standardize punishments and reduce arbitrary punishments and blood feuds. However, the laws were known for their harshness, with the death penalty prescribed for almost all offenses. So imagine you actually making the mistake, and you get the death penalty. Imagine you accidentally running a light, or you're driving and you go a little bit past the speed limit, and then you get the death penalty. That's draconian measures, with the death penalty prescribed for almost all offenses from stealing food to murder. Yeah, I just said that before through the Spirit. I didn't even know it was there. So the Republicans and the Democrats, two sides of the same coin, and the government will bring forth. Well, the government will pave the way for chaos, so that they could come in with their order. Revelation 12:12. You want to know what? That's it. That's the end of the lesson. Yeah, I was gonna get Isaiah 32, but I'm gonna save that for our next lesson. Lord will, this lesson was edifying. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bashim Yashai Bashim Akakodash. Double honors to the apostles, our elders, a great millstone, and shalom. Yeah, you trust in the Lord, cause this is Jacob's trouble. We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. Let me get that and end it. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, and so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So the government shut down, the vintage failing, the benefits being taken away from these women, and a lot of these Edomites that are on government assistance. Crime is gonna skyrocket, because if you don't have any money to put food on the table for your family, people are gonna find other ways to get food to feed their family. Crime is gonna skyrocket. So if they pass this, if this bill gets passed, then this was just a test for them to see how the people reacted to something like this happening. Well, things are just gonna get worse. Things have to get worse before they get better, because there's always war before there's a time of peace. With King David, in his lifetime, it was nothing but war for him. King David and his mighty men and the Israelites versus the other nations, versus the Philistines, versus Ammonites, the Edomites. King David conquered the nations through Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. And then when King Solomon got into power, it was 40 years of peace. So WW3 is going to be the last war before the kingdom of heaven come, which is peace. And when Jacob's trouble really starts to heat up, it's gonna be the worst time on earth. Not even slavery, not even, basically the worst event in history is not gonna mount up to Jacob's trouble. The hour of temptation dealing with the MOTB is gonna be bad, but our faith is in Yahweh Bashim Shai. Our faith is in the Lord. Lord will, He has mercy on us. Lord will, the Lord has mercy on His elect, which He will. This grace period is a time to get right. I don't know why I'm saying this, but this grace period is a time to get right with the Lord. So repent and pray for mercy. Stop the BS. And you know what you have to change. You know what you're doing wrong. So pray to the Lord for strength. Fast, pray. Do the work of the Lord. And that's the end of the lesson. Lord will is edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Akakadash. Shalom.